Thank you so much for joining us today for our webinar, From Ideas to Impact, AI Strategies for Early Language Teachers. My name is Sabrina and I'll be your host today. And we're very excited to have so many educators here who are interested in exploring new ways to bring language learning to life in their classrooms. Today's webinar is presented in collaboration with NEL, and we're very grateful for their partnership in bringing this session to the language teaching community. To start us off, we're pleased to welcome Carmen Reyes, who helped organize this webinar from NEL and will share a few opening words.
Hello, language educators. Thank you, Sabrina. Hello, Larissa. I am very excited to be here. And I'm looking forward to learning from Larissa about AI for early language teachers.
Gracias, Carmen. Gracias, CLED World Languages. I'm excited to be here in connection with NEL. I am the Virginia representative for NEL, so this is very important that we get together to share best practices among our early language teachers. I'm Larissa Jacoman. I am my language, and as someone that left Mexico as a young child, I learned early on the importance of practicing your language, your heritage language, outside of the country. And so learning how to connect with students so they can learn a language where it's not all around them all the time has been essential. And even for my son, that he grew up here in the United States, becoming a multilingual person, it took a lot of effort. So finding the correct resources for students to connect with and resources that are meaningful has always been very important. And so today I will share some ideas of how you can use AI to connect with students. And I think this is a life-changing event because teachers can create their own resources easier than they could before. Before you had to look around for the exact resources that you needed. Now you can create your own resources. And so we're gonna get started here. I'm gonna present, and we have the agenda. First, a welcome to everybody. Thank you for being here at this time of the day after a daylight changing time. And if you may, you go ahead and put in the chat where you're joining us from and how much experience you have. How much do you use AI in your classroom? You can put 1 if you use it very little, very occasionally. 2 if you sort of frequently use it, and 3 if you use it all the time. And we have from Brazil, Blanca, welcome, Teresa, uno, muy bien, Elizabeth, 2, María, 1, Salika, Clara, we have lots of, some with more practice and some with a little. So let's go ahead and dive in. Today, we're gonna try to show you how to use AI to make it proficiency-based so that you can use it in your classroom with early language students. And so we'll give you some prompts that you can use in the class in AI to create these resources and some classroom samples and multimodal workflows. So as I mentioned, AI has really changed the game. It is a multimodal drafting partner. You still get to choose the goal, the level, the cultural focus, but you can create it as a partner. So you always need that human, yourselves, or the editor of books, such as CLED World Languages, to look over the materials that have been created for your students. So you can create a multimodal creation, text to image to a video. You can do real-time voice. You can speak to the AI and it gives you the correct pronunciation. And you can use it as a long context assistant. That means that you are creating differentiated tasks, rubrics, and communications for parents. Today, we're going to focus on the multimodal creation. First, the 4 Ps. It's super important that you keep privacy in mind and don't ever paste images or students' data into the AI. Always keep it anonymous and follow your school policy. For younger children, we recommend that you model it to them, but it's not really in their hands to be used at this point. You can teach about AI, how it works, how machine learning works, but it shouldn't necessarily be unless it is a safe platform where students can use it within that realm and it's not outside where they can get all kinds of information. We also recommend that you have your purpose in mind, your communication tasks, and how you're going to be practicing the language. Always verify, proofread your resources that you have created for cultural accuracy, for proficiency level, for typos. Always make sure that you're there as the human looking through your resources. And finally, keep people in mind, be inclusive, respectful, and avoid stereotypes. So proficiency-based learning is working with these 3 modes of communication: interpretative, interpersonal, and presentational. And always begin with what students can do with the language. Here we have a sample prompt flow of how to create your prompts so the AI can create your resources. Think about the context, the goal, the persona, and the task. And we have some suggestions of what context is. We're going from prompt writing to context engineering. So you have the whole environment put into the chat so it can create, the more specific you are, the more you can get from the AI. The goal, the can-do statement that you want your students to be able to do, the persona that you want the ChatGPT to take. Is it a language specialist? Do you want it to differentiate? What do you want this bot to think as? So that helps a lot. And then, of course, the task, the length of the activity, the support that you want for the students, etc. Here we have some sample prompts of basic to stronger prompts. So we have the novice Spanish class, act as a novice Spanish class, make it stronger. Act as a novice mid-Spanish class for elementary learners with a mix of confidence levels, including students who benefit from visuals, from repetition, from movement. And you get the idea. You start expanding your definition. Here's a fuller prompt where you are using the persona, the context, the task to build a fuller prompt that will, you can also feel free to ask AI to help you craft this prompt. So it helps you find the words that you need to craft your idea. This star means that we're going to share in the chat our first prompt crafting link. And we're going to share it in the chat in a few seconds. And you have access to that. So that's the first one. There we go. Thank you, Clet and Sabrina, for doing that. So there you have the Google Doc where we're sharing this prompt. Here's another prompt to use for interpretative tasks. So you have a 4-picture sequence with a word bank, and the story goes like this. Hoy voy al mercado con mi familia Veo frutas y pan en muchas mesas. Una señora vende mangos de México y plátanos de Colombia. Un señor cocina arepas y me da una para probar. So you put this into the chat, and in a matter of seconds, it will create something like this. And here the star means that we are going to share another link with you on how to create this image, where you have the image to work with students. You can point to what they're seeing, and we have the sentence. Vamos al mercado, hay frutas y pan. Mangos de México y plátanos de Colombia. And then you can extend this activity with a word bank, and then some sentences that they can demonstrate comprehension, pago y vamos a casa. So that would be número 4. So students are putting together the words with what's going on in the image and showing comprehension. Then we have the interpersonal tasks, and these are tasks where we are talking among two people, and you can begin with just a speech bubble for the students. Always make sure that you interchange information, so you're getting real information from the person that you're talking to, making it meaningful for the students. This would be the most basic. You have the bubbles, you have the students. ¿Qué te gusta hacer? Me gusta jugar. ¿Y a ti? Another one, ¿te gusta bailar o cantar? Me gusta bailar. So you have a sample, and then students can take it to the real life and interact among themselves. You can also do a chat mat, where it's for a different level, where you have more intermediate and you have longer sentences, and you have reviewed el parque, la pizza, levantarte temprano. What are you going to do this weekend? And so here they have some sentence frames to help them along their conversation, and they can record their conversation, so you can have it on their folio and check for pronunciation and how they are interacting and adding to the conversation. Here we have a sample of a video that we created with Canva, and I'm going to go to Canva to share it. So this was just a description to have two students talk to each other about playing ball. And here we
Voy a jugar a la pelota. ¿Quieres jugar conmigo?
No puedo, tengo que ir a clases de inglés.
Right, so this was created fairly quickly, but it can give students a sample of how to interact. And they're hearing it, they're seeing it, and they are more inclined to practice it. And continuing here, we have CLED World Languages has Leo, which is a conversation partner with AI. It's AI power, and it is an excellent way for students to practice unlimited their the content that they're studying. So if we go to Leo here, we have a trial version from CLED. They have Leo for all of the Reporteros books, and those are these books, Reporteros, and for the unit 0, which reviews qué día es hoy, qué tiempo hace, we're going to give it a run here. Unidad 0. And let's see if we can get Leo. Try Leo. And so this is a sample of a chatbot where it works within its AI that has been created by the editors of CLED. So it has a critical thinking mind behind it, reviewing it, and it helps both the student and the teacher keep the vocabulary and keep it in a safe place, and the vocabulary that you're using for that unit. So for example, here we have hola, what's your name? And maybe our younger students may say, I don't know. and Leo will answer this, and they can hear it too.
No worries at all. We'll just keep going. Today we're going to review the preliminary unit. Ready? Let's go. ¿Cómo estás?
Right, and the more advanced they get, the less English they will be getting, and the more grammar explanations the chatbot will be tutoring them with. So, ¿cómo estás? Maybe I say, bien, and we can listen to it.
Nice. Nice to meet you. ¿De dónde eres? Yo soy de Nueva York.
All right, so if you're interested in testing this out further, you can ask for a trial from CLED World Languages. This is Leo, and it's a chatbot that comes with reporteros. For each unit has their own reportero section. So I am going to go back in here. And it is important to keep in mind that even though it's a chatbot, there is editors behind Leo that have created this program to support students, to guide them, and to keep it within the unit target language that they're working with. It also helps teachers keep track of progress, and it's in compliance with privacy requirements for schools and students. All right, so now we're going to go into other creations, resources that you can do. You can create mini books and comics, posters and infographics, and short videos. Here's a sample of a mini book that you can create that is culturally appropriate. It talks about Peru, ¿qué ves en Perú? Busca ID, and then you have some pages to work with. And if you notice some of these things, we probably don't want them, right? We have some marks in here that are repetitive. We have 2 ones in the picture of Peru and 2s. And so there is a way to edit this in Canva. So you upload it to an app within Canva called Codia AI. And you upload the picture, it scans it, and it makes all these elements editable. So you can edit both the text and the images and add your own. So here I kind of cleaned it a little bit so we don't have that extra text that the AI originally created in ChatGPT. Highly recommend. This is a game changer for the images that are created in AI. Over here we have an infographic to compare the breakfast in México and Estados Unidos. Chilaquiles y chocolate, cereal y panqueques. If you see a typo, panqueques, if you see something you don't like, maybe the cereal doesn't look quite the way you want it, you also have the option to upload it. Never take the product as the final, even though it's getting better and better and faster, always take time to edit your work. So if you want to edit it, you have Codia AI, and that's a game changer to edit your images. And over here we have a storyboard about Azul, which is an axolotl that lives in Mexico, and he wants to go visit in Coyoacán la casa de Frida Kahlo. And so he visits the Frida Kahlo home, and he wants to be a painter too. So you're working with previous knowledge about Frida Kahlo, being a painter, and simple vocabulary that you're practicing: le gusta, va, es, hace. You can also take it further and practice their comprehension by pairing the images with the text. And you can also ask the students to present at the end the whole story with the images. Or ask them to dibuja, él va a Coyoacán. And you have a whiteboard and you have students practicing and demonstrating comprehension. is this Canva this storyboard is from Gemini, from ChatGPT. And both Gemini and ChatGPT will do the image creation, and Canva can do the video creation. That's my favorite one for video creation. All right, here we have another sample of something that you can do. It is, I ask ChatGPT to generate an image of a boy in a market in Oaxaca, Mexico, with alebrijes all around it. So generated this very busy picture, and then I asked it to give me the vocabulary that I could use in my class with my students at the beginner level, at the novice level, to practice the vocabulary. And it gave me, this was all from a text, no images inputted in here. It gave me the vocabulary bank, the sample sentences, and some questions to work with these images. This is another activity, and I hope I'm not overwhelming you. AI has many possibilities, and I'm trying to share some ideas that you can try in the classroom. We had Bad Bunny a few weeks ago during the halftime show. I took time to discuss it with my students about Puerto Rico, where is in the map, what is the flag, what are the colors of the flag, and a little bit about la casita, the house, the chairs, the sombrero de pava that he has on his head, the sapo concho that spoke on the behalf of Bad Bunny. And then we did this quick exit activity where they had to draw las sillas, la casita, la bandera, y el sapo. So I input it into Canva. Canva has an app called Coloring Bookmaker. And in there, you can input a picture of Bad Bunny and create a coloring page. And from there, I added the different sections so they could do simple drawings and show their understanding. This is Coloring Bookmaker in Canva. Over here, we have another Canva app, which is Cartoonify. And I love Canva because it is free for teachers, and you can create, if you have the time to create all these resources, you have the option to do that. And here we're gonna go into Canva. I inputted a picture of a dog, and it came out talking with emotion. Voice Maker is the, Cartoonify is what makes it a cartoon, a picture, from a picture to a cartoon. And then Voice Maker with emotion, you can say, make the dog talk as if he was excited, or make him talk as if he was sad. So here we have a quick sample. And
Hola, soy Lalo, el perro que te va a cuidar.
okay, just simple text. It's getting better. The voice is better, but I always recommend for you to, if you have the time, to do your own voice over so you can hear the actual words from the speaker. Over here we have avatars with voiceovers. So I began with ChatGPT, and here we have a second link to share with you, a prompt. You input your picture into ChatGPT, you make it in the style of Pixar with big eyes, and then it creates this this three-dimensional person of you that you can take into Canva and make it into a video. So I'm going to share those samples here. I believe it's here. Somewhere in here. All right. So this is what I went into Canva and put in the picture of Pixar that it made of me, and asked it to create a video of it.
Soy el avatar de la profe Yacomán y quiero que digas este trabalenguas 3. Tristes tigres tragaban trigo en un trigal.
I was pretty impressed with the voiceover. It's not my voice, but it's the computer's voice in created by the machine. And then we have a final activity. When students come into the classroom, I always ask, ¿qué tiempo hace? So maybe I'm not going to be, for example, tomorrow. We're interviewing at my school for a new instructor, and I will not be there, and they could use this while I'm not there.
Buenos días, clase. ¿Quién me puede decir qué tiempo hace hoy? Alza la mano.
This is another voice over with a different voice and pronunciation, and you can work with the speed. If it's going too fast, if you will like it a little bit slower, whatever you feel works best with your students. Another sample of an instructional video. This video began with Gemini, and then we went over to Canva to add elements. So here I'm going to share it.
Mezclamos los ingredientes. ¡Qué divertido! Y ahora, a la...
Sorry. See, here we go again.
Mezclamos los ingredientes. ¡Qué divertido! Y ahora, a la prensa. Mira cómo se infla. ¡A disfrutar!
Para hacer tortillas, añade agua a la harina de maíz para preparar tu masa. Tu masa debe de quedar suave y sin bolitas. Divídela en 10 bolitas y presiona con la tortillera. Ponla en el comal hasta que esté dorada por los dos lados.
Yes, you'll have access to the webinar, and I can briefly show you the best way to do the videos in Canva. I'm going to go to Canva over here. I have one open over here. And so you go to Canva AI first, and you choose video clip. The size 16 by 9, and this is new. Make sure you mark to add audio, and then you can ask it to do create a video. Hold on, let me keep an eye on the time. Create a video of a cat saying hello in Spanish. Hello. And sometimes it tells you there's something about your text that we don't like and we cannot create it. It also gives you points, so you can create a limited amount of creations. Let's take a look and see if it will create something like this. It usually takes about a couple of minutes to generate, so we might be coming back and taking a look at this video. So it's working on it, and we'll come back to it. While it's doing it, we'll continue our program here.
Mezclamos.
And this is the third link that we are sharing with you in the chat. Is going to be about Gemini. And so you have a prompt that's all text, and you're going to create an image. An object, it could be an apple, it could be a pencil, it could be a book, and you're going to make it talk. You're going to add eyes and nose and eyes so it talks. So first you create the image, and you can tell that it's Gemini because it has their watermark signature at the bottom. And we're sharing this prompt with you. And then you put this image into Gemini to
Hola amigos, soy el lápiz. Yo te puedo ayudar a escribir y dibujar. Lo mejor es que me puedes borrar cuando haces errores. No te olvides de ponerme en tu mochila para ir a la escuela contigo.
So we were looking at school supplies, and that was a good way. You can work with the speed of the video to make it a
Hola amigos, soy el lápiz. Yo te puedo ayudar.
Lower. So you can always go to the settings and change the speed of your video. I'm not seeing it right here. Playback speed, and you can, make it a little slower so it's not rushing through it and your students can understand. I love having the captions because students can see the text of what they're hearing and they're seeing. So you're giving them the information several times. They're seeing it, they're hearing it, and they're comprehending it by seeing the image.
Ayudar a escribir y dibujar. Lo mejor es que me puedes borrar cuando haces errores. No te olvides de ponerme en tu mochila para ir a la escuela contigo.
So I felt that that text, that voice, that narration was exactly what I was teaching my students and they could understand it all. And that was the case. They were very happy. They understood everything. We were still doing school supplies and school. And so I went to Suno, which is an app to generate lyrics with music, and asked it to create lyrics for school supplies and gave it a few ideas of what I had in mind. So it generated the lyrics, and I took those lyrics into CapCut and it added images to the song. So I'm going to share that with you. And here we go.
Miro mi mochila llena de color, lápiz que dibuja mi primer dragón, cuadernos abiertos, sueños por llenar, en cada renglón algo nuevo va a empezar. Útiles escolares me ayudan a crear de un cuento chiquitito a un robot que puede hablar.
So in case you were wondering, my students loved it. They were singing, they stood up, they like, we like this. And all I did was put my idea into Suno and it put the music with the vocabulary that we were practicing. So I highly recommend giving it a try, even if you're not creating music and songs all the time. Another resource that I can share with you that is awesome, it's very popular these days, is Notebook LM. This is a place where you can input your resources and it will create more resources just with those resources that you added. So it's not going around the World Wide Web and picking information from everywhere. It will work with what you give it, just with the information that you are giving it. You can give it text, you can give it videos, you can give it audio, spreadsheets, and it will work with you. A lot of people use it to study because it gives you a mind map, a flashcard, quizzes, audio overview. The audio overview in Spanish is really good. The pronunciation is pretty good. It's a little bit more advanced than my little ones would be using, but it's a great resource to study. In this case, I inputted a video of food, proud to be Latino, comida, from YouTube, and it created this infographic with lots of text. And again, this is an infographic that you can take and work with your students. And if you don't like something, maybe you don't like arroz y frijoles merging into one bowl, then you can put it into Canva, upload it, and Kodia AI will help you get rid of that image and bring your own image. Same thing with the text. You can edit the text with Kodia AI. Another thing that we have here that's super exciting is Gemini Storybook. And this is our fourth. This prompt is together with the third one in the same page. This is a storybook, and this is a gem in Gemini, and it's still in trial mode, but I will demonstrate it for you so you can hear the language and the images. Again, here the theme was útiles escolares, school supplies, and your backpack. So going to Gemini, we have the book, and you can listen to it.
La mochila mágica de Mateo. A Mateo le encantaba ir a la escuela, pero siempre tenía un pequeño problema. Su habitación parecía un torbellino de colores y juguetes. Cada mañana, salía corriendo por la puerta con su mochila saltando en su espalda, sin saber que algo muy importante se quedaba atrás. El lunes, cuando llegó la hora de escribir cuentos, Mateo buscó. El martes era el día de la lectura.
You get the idea. We go through the days of the week and what he forgets, his school supplies at home. So this is a great way to have resources. You have the image, you have the text, and you can work with your students on comprehension. Again, it's always super important to have a human, an editor, looking at your work, right? And that is what I think CLED World Languages brings. You have a human, a set of editors working on the critical thinking behind these ideas. Many times, we as teachers don't have the time to create these resources and edit them. So here we have a sample of Alba and Gael, which is more of a novice book, novice intermediate, and I will demonstrate how rich their resources are in terms of the language that they can hear. And I'm going to go to CLED here. I'm going to come out of Leo. And we're going to go to Alba and Gael. And this is Unidad 6. And first, we can listen. They have 3 pictures here to work with to figure out what the audio is about. So let's listen to something that has been created intentionally by real humans so you can see the difference.
Hola, quiero adoptar un caballo.
Pero aquí no hay caballos. Un caballo no es una mascota.
¿Qué hay en una tienda de mascotas?
Pues hay gatos, perros, loros, hámsters, peces, ratones, conejos, ranas.
¿Y cuál es tu animal favorito?
Mi animal favorito es el gato.
Yo tengo un gato, se llama Jaleo.
I just love the rich language that we're using here in their texts. And here we have a simple workflow image review. You begin with a draft. You go and generate it. You select what works for your level. You edit and you edit and you edit more until you have your resource that you want to teach. To do and not to do's. Do ask for no text in the images. You can always add that later. Do request multiple perspectives so you can choose from different story plots. You can add yourselves captions and alternative text, and you use images to foretalk, to do the narrations, to compare, to predict, to justify. Get the most out of these images that really connect with students. Not to do, use images as just decorations. Do not accept culturally vague stereotypes. Always review what you're presenting, and do not overload students with too many visuals. So, scaffold, take it a step at a time, present the language, and then you can add and create longer sentences. Over here, we have a sample video workflow for a 60-second video. You have your storyboard, 4 frames, your script, your voiceover or your own voice, and then you can add captions and you have your quick video. This reminds me, let's go back into Canva and see if it created what we had asked for. Let's see. Yeah, so there is we asked for a cat saying hello. Let's see if we have audio here.
Hola. Meh, 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 meh.
So it did not say hello, right? And you can always do the voiceover. It takes time to work with creating your own resources. And sometimes it pays off if it's a really good, but if it's not your thing, there's options, and Clet World Languages, I think, does a wonderful job of having incredible resources. All right. So I think we're coming towards the end with the 3 takeaways. Start with proficiency, always, and think about what your communicative task is. Use AI in a multimodal way so you can create text, images, infographics, videos, whole bunch of resources exactly to what you need. And keep in mind the guardrails. Always edit, keep a cultural lens, keep it safe and meaningful for your students. And I hope this will help you and inspire to try something new in your class so that you can connect with your students better. Thank you for joining us today. We can take some questions. And
Thank you so much, Larissa. That was wonderful, really insightful and inspiring. So we're gonna move in with the Q&A portion of the session and answer some of those. Please, everyone, if you still have any pending questions, feel free to add those in the Q&A or here in the chat. We will share all the requested links as well if you still need them. In the meantime, one of the questions that is here is what program is used to create the images? What program did you use?
we use ChatGPT and Gemini and Canva.
Okay. Amazing. And for the case of Mateo's story, did you create the text or the AI generated that itself as well?
The storyboard with the book supplies, yes, that was Gemini. And I did ask it to use school supplies and a little bit about the story. They created a little bit more. They added context to it. Yes. Or it added a context. You should always have humans behind it checking the context. Yeah.
Great. And in the Gemini storybook, speaking of, can we adjust the lexic level? For example, someone was able to prompt the notebook LM to make a Spanish story based on Punch Monkey, which matches the level for their third grade second language learners, but can this be adjusted in general?
In the storybook that from Gemini is hard to edit it, but in Canva, in Gemini, there's ways to edit it. So if you have a picture, you can click on the picture in Gemini, and at the top, an area comes up where you can highlight the area that you want to recreate, and it will give you, sometimes better than others, a recreation of what you wanted, a do-over of what you wanted to eliminate or add.
Perfect. Another question we have at the moment is if it is necessary to pay for AI programs to get all the features that we saw to create these resources.
No, this Gemini should come with your Google Suite. You can create. It does have less availability or less points, because also something to keep in mind, AI takes a lot of energy. So one person using AI for a whole day, it's equivalent of 33,000 households. So what they're doing now, so not everybody is on AI all the time, is limiting the free versions, and they are charging for you. So you may be able to create one or two and then wait perhaps the next day to have more access to other creations. But Canva is free for teachers. ChatGPT has a free version, and Gemini does too. Although I do think that the paid versions, unfortunately, give you a better service than the free ones, and it's not equal for everybody, and that's a concern too. Yes.
Great. So the at the moment last questions. Everyone, you still have time to post a couple if you still have anything left. But is if there are any prompts or links to transfer or easily combine applications. So, for example, ChatGPT to Canva.
Um, there are agents these days that can communicate among themselves, but to cut and paste, that's the way I'm doing it these days. I'm not doing the agents. Also, in the last link that I shared, there's a couple, thank you for reminding me, a couple of extra gems or specialized ChatGPT bots, chatbots that you can interact with. So there's one from, I believe it's from California, from a teacher, world language teacher that has put all the proficiency guidelines in California, and you can work with that material to create your own. And there is another one from me for younger students to work with an adult with stories and in Spanish and novice intermediate level.
Perfect. So I think we don't have more questions at the moment. I'm gonna just share a couple links and insight, and then we can give space if there's any other questions. Otherwise, we can close. Before anything, just in case, thank you so much for your questions, and thank you again, Larissa,
Gracias,
for
Sabrina.
thanks. So for those of you who asked, once again regarding Leo, it is at the moment linked to Reporteros. We will share a link so you can request a demo or a free sample request so you can take a look at it and try it out. This is something that comes in that is included with Reporteros, and we are at the moment only with that one. We are considering how to use this in the other collections and manuals that we have. And regarding the rest of the links, so I just shared the so you can request a free sample and a couple more links that I'm going to share right now. Here is the link for the certificate of attendance that some of you have requested. So take that link now. You can put your information and you should receive it immediately. Also, yes, just a friendly reminder, you will receive the presentation and the recording in a couple days, plus all the resources that we saw today. And last but not least, I want to share with you a short feedback survey. We really appreciate it if you can take a minute to share your thoughts with us, see how we can improve and how can we bring more interesting information. And if you'd like to join us for future sessions, you can find and register for upcoming webinars at clairewl.com/webinars KWL. There are all the upcoming webinars, so stay posted. And yes, since I don't think we have any additional questions, thank you again for being here with us today, and we hope to see you again soon. Have a wonderful day.